so we can't.
We are in Unit 2. We are still doing equations. And we are on day 10. Okay? Today is no different than any other day with equations. I am hoping that at this point, you feel a little bit better about equations. You know how to find the balance point. You know how to distribute. We know how to combine like terms on the same side. We've been doing equations, even though this is day 10 of the notes. We've been on equations for what seems for some of you probably like forever. Some of you guys are like, I don't even remember when we started. It was so long ago. I know. It's been like a month that we've been doing equations. So I feel confident that at this point, you know how to solve an equation. We're truly adding something small today. We're going to be solving equations with decimals. Okay, and I heard the, oh. They don't make them that much harder. Okay? I promise you, decimals are just as easy. If you can solve an equation, you're going to be able to solve the equation if it has decimals. Now, we're not even going to start with equations. We're literally going to start with just adding and subtracting. And some of you are like, why? Because I want to. Negative 3 41/100 minus 7 2/10. Okay? This is our first example. I personally don't like to see them sideways. If you can do it sideways, hey, go for it. I don't like to. So I'm going to rewrite it as negative 3 41/100, negative 7 2/10. Notice what I did because this is extremely important. I lined, I'm good. I lined the decimals up. The decimals have to be in line. 3 41/100, 7 2/10. But the numbers aren't in line. So what do I need to add in that 7 2/10? A 0. So it's negative 3 41/100, negative 7 20/100. Does everybody agree there? Or minus? Are they the same sign? When they're the same sign, what can we do with them? Emma?
Add them and keep the sign.
Add them and keep the sign. 1 plus 0 is 1. 4 plus 2 is 6. The decimal comes straight down. 3 plus 7 is 10, and you said to do what? Keep the
Sign.
questions? Subtraction, right? We've done subtraction before. This is something that we've had trouble with. Hopefully we don't anymore, but we might. What if I've got 1/10 minus 3/10? Okay, what if I have 1/10 minus 3/10? Okay? So again, I don't like to see it like this. Do they have the same sign? 1/10 is positive. 3/10, the sign in front of 3/10 is negative. When they're opposite signs, what do we do? Go ahead, Emma.
Subtract and take the sign of the bigger number.
Take the sign of the bigger number. So I'm going to circle 1/10. I'm going to circle negative 3/10. I put 3/10 on top, and I subtract 1/10. 3 minus 1 is 2. The decimal comes down. But Emma, you said something important. We're looking at just the numbers. Which just number is bigger, 1/10 or 3/10? So what sign has to be with it?
Negative.
So it gives me negative 2/10. Questions on this? Because you will have to do problems where you're adding and subtracting decimals. So all I want, and it can be discrete, put a fist on your chest if you want to see another one. So put a fist on your chest if you want to see another one. Okay. So let's go. One more. Let's go negative 71/100 minus 2 3/10. I'll give you a second, see if you can come up with the answer. Okay, I'd like you to come up with the answer. So give it a second. Try it, write it however you think you need to. And then I'll come up there and I'll try it as well.
Trying to see what there's not. I'll solve it on this sheet of paper that I have right here. Thank you.
Okay, so here we go. I'm going to circle each term. Same sign, different signs. What do they have? Same signs. If they have the same sign, we can add them and then put the sign back with it. But notice how I line them up. The decimals have to be lined up. The decimals have to be lined up. Everything has to have a number under or over everything. So what needs to go above the 2? A 0. What needs to go under the 1? A 0. Now we can add. 1 plus 0 is 1. 7 plus 3 is 10. That stays, the 1 gets carried. The decimals come straight down. 1 plus 2 is 3. Is my answer 3 and 1/100th?
No.
Why not? You keep the sign, which is negative. Everybody good with adding and subtracting? And I don't want to insult your intelligence, but you've been adding and subtracting negatives for a while. Okay? So this is something that you should know how to do. Something that you may have forgotten, though, is division.
No, but I mean this problem that I did. Okay, I just.
So, you're going to see problems that look like this. 9 9/10 divided by, actually let's go 99/100 divided by 3/10. Because when we start to solve equations, are we going to have to divide? Absolutely. Especially if there's some decimals in there, I can understand why that might confuse us. So, first step, when we see something like this, we want to write it as an old-fashioned division problem. What I mean by that is long division. The denominator goes on the outside. On the inside goes 99/100. Everybody with me there? Okay. Can we divide this like this? What is wrong with this? Not wrong, but what do we have to do? Cheyenne?
You have to move the decimal to the inside of the division.
Yes and no. The number on the outside cannot be a decimal anymore. So it's 3/10. If it's tenths, how many decimal places to the right do we need to move it? Ryan? 1. If I move this decimal place 1 to the right on the outside, how many times do I have to move it on the inside? 1. So now I can rewrite this as 3 divided by 9 and 9/10. Everybody with me still? This decimal immediately goes which direction? Up or down? Yeah, Brock, you got it. Brock's pointing up. It goes up. That decimal stays there. Now we do long division. 3 goes into 9 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 minus 9 is 0. Notice the decimal doesn't come down because we already brought it up. Just the number comes down. 3 goes into 9 3 times. No remainder. So this answer is 3 3/10. Everybody still with me there? Okay, so let's go with this. 2 and 55 hundredths divided by 1 and 5 tenths. So, try to set this up. I want you to at least get it set up like long division. Okay, try to at least get it set up like long division. From what I've seen, most of us are doing fine. We start off with 1 and 5 tenths, trying to go into 2 and 55 hundredths. Does everybody at least have that? Can I divide? Not yet. Decimal moves to the right, decimal moves to the right. So I'm going to rewrite this as 15 going into 25 and 5 tenths. Everybody with me there? Immediately, what happens to the decimal? Oscar, what happens to the decimal? Where's it go?
Does it go up or down, Oscar?
Up, good. Decimal comes up. How many times does 15 go into 25, Cody? Once. 1 times 15 is 15. That leaves me with 10. The 5 comes down and I have 105. Now this is where you're going to have to guess and check. I always start smack dab in the middle at 5. So I'm trying to see how many times does 15 go into 105. 15 times 5 is 25, carry the 2, that's 75. Well, that leaves 30 left over if I use that one. So it's not 5, bless you. Should I try 6? Should I try 7? What do you think I should try? You think 7? Okay, so again, this is guess and check. So now I'm going to try 7. 7 times 5 is 5. Carry the 3, 105. Oh, so 7 it is. Gives me exactly 105. That's 0. So this answer is 1 and 7 tenths. Questions? So have we done equations yet? No. We've truly just done some figuring out decimal stuff.
I was wondering, could we do 1 with a remainder?
No, because we're not going to have any with remainders.
Oh, we're not in the equations?
Nope.
Okay.
Good question, though. So, let's try this. Nice and basic. If I give you x plus 3 1/10 equals 2 5 tenths. Is this an equation? Yeah, there's an equal sign. Therefore, it's an equation. Follow our steps. Find the balance point. Do I need the distributor combined? Nope. Do I need the distributor combined? Nope. Here's 1x. That's what we want. So what do we have to move? Lydia? Good. The inverse of the plus 3 1/10 is subtracting 3 1/10. So that gives me x equals. Are these the same signs or different signs? Different. So what I want you to get into the habit of is saying, hey, this is positive, this is negative. Let's come off to the side and subtract. That's 2, that's 11. Decimal comes down. That gives me 6 tenths. Which number in just the number was bigger? 2 5 tenths or 3 1/10? So what sign has to go with it? Questions? Let's try one more.
You might go a little slower.
Yes, ma'am. So again, the equations stay the same. So we've got 0.8x equals negative 72. So 8 tenths x equals negative 72. Is it an equation and why? So I need some hands. Is it an equation and why? Right now we've got no hands. I need somebody other than Emma. Come on, class. Go ahead, Madison.
Yes, because there's
Yes, there's an equal sign. Beautiful. That's all we needed to say. Yes, there's an equal sign. That's what makes it an equation. Step 1, find the balance point. The balance point is always the equal sign. Do I need to combine or distribute? Do I need to combine or distribute? So we need to get that x by itself. Right now, this says 8/10 times x. What inverse operation do we need to use? Now I got some hands. Michaela, go ahead. Division. What am I going to divide both sides by?
8x.
By what?
72, negative 72.
Not negative 72, because we're trying to get this x by itself, so we need to move what's on the same side. So what's on the same side as that x?
The decimal.
The decimal and the? So we're going to divide both sides by 8/10. Does that make sense? Because 8/10 divided by 8/10 is 1. 1 what? 1x. Hey, Mr. H, you showed us problems like this. We just did them. So let's write it as long division. So I'm going to come off this side, I'm going to say 8/10 divided by negative 72. What happens to my 8/10? What happens to this? Lydia,
You move it to the right.
how many times? Once. Ooh. Where am I putting my pencil tip to start moving the decimals? Go ahead.
At the end of the 72, negative 72.
At the end of the 72, how many times do I need to move it? Once. So now I have 8 going into negative 7 to, what fills that bunny hop?
0.
Very good, Cody, is 0. So we know if it's negative, the answer's going to be negative. 8 goes into 72 how many times? 9. 9 times 8 is 72. So that is 0. 0 comes down. Does 8 go into 0 at all?
No.
0 times 8 is 0. That gives me negative 90. Questions on how I'm doing these? The key is knowing how to add and subtract decimals and moving the decimal in division. You're going to try a couple for us.